Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ClapperCast, the duo you did not expect to be back on the podcast so soon. Alina, we somehow wrangled you before November for another review, this time of M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin. But first, just in general, how are you doing today?
Well, I am back because Dave Bautista's in this movie, and you gotta represent Big Dave. I'm well. My unemployed era is over already. 2 weeks only. Who would have thought? I am now working part-time at a evil fast fashion corporation. But hey, money is money in this goddamn economy.
Did you ever see the horror movie
I
Slacks? About the pants, I believe it
Yes,
was? That's gonna be
yes,
you.
from Fantasia.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that movie was so cringe. Like, I really liked the message behind it, but then, like, I don't know, as a brown girl of South Asian origin, it just started to feel a little bit racist. And I was like, yeah, this was definitely written by some white people. But, like, it was fine. I liked the concept. But that's not what we're talking about today. What have you been up to?
I have been doing well. Seasonal depression was found dead in their home. It has been
Hell yeah.
80 degrees out and sunny and beautiful. I worked out
Your
this
shirt really
morning.
reflects that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so did
I
I. What did you do?
I did a big 4-mile walk and then I did some weightlifting. So that was really enjoyable.
I love that you're in your lifting era. I don't
Right.
know how long 4 miles is, but it sounds like a lot.
It was a good distance. It definitely was. It took an hour and a half maybe, but it was fun to get outside. And then
Nice.
after this I'm recording and then I'm going to the beach, so I'm really just vibing with my
Slay.
tropical era.
I love that. Shout out San Diego. I hit back and biceps today.
Love that.
Yeah. I can lift slightly heavier things now than I did 4 weeks ago, so that's really exciting.
Look at that.
So my butt hurts because now I can lift 150 pounds on the Smith machine. Technically, it's 170 pounds, but my boyfriend told me not to count the bar because it's a Smith machine and not free weights. So he says it's cheating. But I go to Planet Fitness and there's no actual squat racks there, or the only free loaded barbell is 60 pounds, and that's light as a fucking feather for a hip thrust. So
Sure.
hey, I'm proud of myself. I do the stair stepper for a warm up
Ooh.
now. Never thought that would be me. And then I watched an episode of Supernatural on the treadmill for 45 minutes. And have you seen all these girls on TikTok? They're really into this 12-3-30 thing,
Yes.
the incline treadmill. I have tried to do that so many times and it hurts my feet so badly.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they can power through that. So I just walk with nothing. I'm this is just my leisurely cardio for my heart. I don't need to be doing 12-3-30. I don't know how to make my feet not hurt.
I
Please help.
definitely don't go that far if I'm on the treadmill, because if it's warm I walk outside of it. If it's not warm I walk on the treadmill. I definitely don't go that hard as far as incline goes, but an incline's where it's at. You really just get there.
You be so sweaty. I saw a dude incline 15 today, but he was holding on, and I feel like that's cheating. If you're
Literally
gonna do incline, you can't hold on. You're cheating.
throw on the Mamma Mia soundtrack, 30 minutes at an incline, you'll get very sweaty and be a great time. I really am my own Peloton instructor.
Hell yeah.
Which
Anyway, I prefer the stair stepper now because it doesn't hurt my feet as much. Anyway,
see, I die on the
Knock at
stair
the
stepper.
Cabin.
I don't really do that. I will die. But that's okay.
You just have to work your way up the levels.
Sure.
I just do level 5 for 10 minutes, and then it's time to lift.
Okay, 10 minutes. That's better. There's people who do it for hours, and I'm like,
I wish I did it for 30 minutes one day, but I had to take breaks. Once I got to 5 minutes, I'd pause for a minute and then go again. Wow. Hey, nobody cares about our
look at us, right?
routine.
No one cares about that. But hopefully some people care about Knock at the Cabin. The brand new M. Night Shyamalan film tells the story of a gay couple with a daughter who go to this remote cabin in the woods. They're spending their time there. It seems like it's a summer, enjoyable break, and then all of a sudden Dave Bautista comes popping out of the forest and is like, hey, I need to talk to you and your dad's. He's talking to the little girl, and then there's 3 others with him, and they basically kind of do a home invasion and tie them up and are like, hey, we don't want to hurt you, just know the world is ending, and in order to stop the apocalypse you have to willingly sacrifice one of your own. And that's that. A little bit of a dark story, but still very interesting. Alina, kick it off. What did you think of Knock at the Cabin?
I liked it, but I didn't love it. This is only my second M. Night Shyamalan movie. I've only seen Old. I haven't watched his others. I
That's
really need
insane.
to. I know. And I thought I was gonna watch some more before his next movie, but like Knock at the Cabin really creeped up on us fast. Like Old was last year, wasn't it?
And apparently there's a new
I have
one
no
coming
idea.
next year. So
Really? Oh my god, he's a
rapid.
madman. Okay, I'll try and watch like The Sixth Sense or something.
Have
I'll
you got it
try.
spoiled for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
isn't he dead at the end?
Oh, well, spoilers
Yeah.
for the people at home.
Listen, that movie's been out for 20 years. It's been
Yeah,
spoiled for everybody. I think it's spoiled in like a Will Ferrell movie or an Adam Sandler movie or something.
that's valid.
Anyway, Knock at the Cabin. Since I haven't watched a lot of M. Night Shyamalan movies, I don't really know like what to expect. So I was on the edge of my seat with this, and I didn't read the book, obviously, because the only thing I read is subtitles. um, but I really liked it. I think Dave Bautista is so good here, and he is good in like every single movie he's been in. Like even like My Spy and Super, those are bad movies, but he's good in them, and he tries so hard, and he is the best wrestler turned actor, and I stand by that. Sorry to Dwayne, sorry to Mr. John Cena,
Sorry,
flops
Edge.
compared to Dave. Sorry,
Until
Edge.
until Percy
Listen,
Jackson
Edge
comes
might
out.
change my mind when Percy Jackson comes out. Exactly. I'm an Edge girly. I don't know. Like the thing that I had an issue with Knock at the Cabin is like it was really obvious where it was going, I think. To me, like there's like something that happens towards the beginning of the movie that Jonathan Groff's character sees, and I saw it too, and I was like, okay. Um, and then I don't want to say what it is because I don't. This movie just came out, and I don't want to ruin it to people. Um, and there's just so hi Doug. There's so many spots where I feel like M. Night Shyamalan just like really explains like very obviously what's happening, and he doesn't really leave a lot up to interpretation. And that was a bit disappointing to me because I feel like this was like a movie where like it obviously could go either way because like I don't know what the other gay guy's name is, but like he is very adamant that um it's like fake. The like Dave Bautista and his band of apocalypse believers are lying, and then Jonathan Groff is like, yeah, like they're lying, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're lying. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I kind of wish that it hadn't been like so spelled out for you. Also, this was 14A, and I think it should have been 18A because like there was some gross stuff that they did off camera, and like I kind of wanted to watch Ron Weasley's head get axed in. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. And I know there's going to be, like, I don't know, but I feel my bones that there's going to be, like, an unrated cut. Because with all the violence,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like they filmed it and just, like, cut it for rating. So, like, I agree. I feel like
Yeah.
that was one of the very clear things where I'm like, oh, I want to see these people get graphically murdered in front of me. Because why not?
Mm-hmm. Like some, I was like prepared for grossness, and then like I didn't realize it was 14A until afterwards. Like I just kind of assumed it would be 18, but whatever. Did you like it?
I did like it. I'm a little bit of a Shyamalan
Same.
stan, even though I don't like a lot of his films. I didn't like Old, for example. I thought it was really bad. So I walked into this very mixed. I read the book very quickly. If you want to hear my opinions on the book, I recommend you check out the Death by Adaptation podcast I was on for Knock at the Cabin, where we talked about it as an adaptation. But I was hopeful, and M. Night Shyamalan really delivered for me. I think the cast is incredible. I think this is one of the best ensembles, like immediately of the year, should be in contention. You mentioned Dave Bautista. Yes, every single performance this man gives, it gets better and better. Every time I'm like, oh, is Dave Bautista really that good of an actor? And every time it delivers fully. But I'm also a Jonathan Groff stan. He's incredible. The other guy, I forget his name. He was also in Spoiler Alert. I really like him. I think I was a little bit more, and we'll get to spoilers here in a minute. I was a little bit more, I guess, engaged by the film, by the sound of things than you. It kind of goes, and this is going to be a wild reference that absolutely no one on earth is going to relate to. But there's a scene in The Sun, a movie I know you loved just as much as I loved, where the son, the titular son, is in there, or he's like gonna kill himself. So they take him to like hospital, and he's begging for them to take him out, and he's saying that, oh, the doctors are lying, blah blah blah, and Hugh Jackman and Nicole Kidman have to make a choice on if they take him out or not. And in that moment, I was very engaged in putting myself in that situation and saying, what do I do? Because on paper, obviously, yes, he needs to be in this hospital, but also, like, with my son sitting there begging me, telling me like he's okay, like, I don't know. It was a very engaging scene. And that was my thing with Knock at the
Mm-hmm.
Cabin is like,
It's
yes,
Laura Dern, by the way,
Laura
not
Dern,
Nicole
not Coco.
Kidman.
God, see, it's been a few
It's
months. I
okay.
apologize,
I had
everyone.
to double check because I was like, what?
Why did I
No,
say
it's Laura Dern.
It's definitely Laura
It's
Dern.
okay. They look similar.
Yes. It's also been months, and no one talks about The Sun. So really, it's been me and
Because it was
myself
a
on my
flop.
5-star masterpiece. But
Wrong.
Knock at the Cabin, I was very similar. We're like, yes, and they start playing the news, and you start seeing things happening, and it matches up with their story. And one part of you is definitely like, yeah, okay, they're telling the truth. We have to make a choice, but also it's like, if there's any other explanation, then you're forced to kill like a person you love. And it just was very engaging, that sense of me sitting there like, what would I do in this situation? Because also, if you are wrong and you say they're lying, then you doom not just like one person in your family, but your daughter and your entire family and the entire world. I was just very engaged by that concept and really putting myself in that role. And I like that they changed the ending, not to get into the book or, necessarily spoilers about the movie, but they also do change things enough to where even if you're a fan of the book, it's going to be a different watch, and it's going to be I found very engaging and rewarding ending that I actually think is better than the book. I know Paul disagrees, but he's not here. So the take of the podcast is that the movie is better, and its ending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys told me what happened in the book, so I didn't have to read it. Thank you. And I agree that the movie ending was better because it's less sad. I think it's like more optimistic. But at the same time, I wish some of it had been left up to interpretation.
No, I definitely get that.
Yeah.
I agree that it could have been a little bit more into interpretation. I also like there's a little bit of extra lore that Shyamalan adds to it that makes it a little bit more biblically connected. I think that's like genius. I love that addition.
Mm-hmm.
I also will just say before we get into spoilers, like the filmmaking, I think is some of Shyamalan's best filmmaking. God, my hair is not working out with this review, but that is okay, everyone. It's not like we're on visual now. But yeah, the like shot composition, the actual directing. I think it's hard to say Shyamalan's ever been better. Mixing just like pure tension with a clear empathy for love. I think now that Shyamalan's daughters are growing up, especially in old, but also in this film, really trying to show the power of love within a family unit. I think it comes across quite powerfully, quite empathetically. So I think this filmmaking wise is also just wildly impressive. Do
Mm-hmm.
you have
I
any?
normally don't like
Go for
I
it.
normally don't like movies where it's like just one setting. I feel like there's been a lot of those over the last couple of years, and like a lot of them are kind of like, but like I feel like he utilizes the cabin and the like the small area of like woods surrounding it like super super well. And I was like genuinely scared watching a lot of the movie. The opening scene when Bautista meets the little girl as she's catching grasshoppers, I was so scared because I really thought that he was like a murderer pedophile or something like that. Because I didn't know, like, I like to go into movies like not knowing what they're about. So like, I thought this poor little girl was gonna get murdered at a cabin in the woods, and then like he was a serial killer or something. Like he was so scary there, and yet he's a second grade teacher in the
Yet he's just like such
movie.
an innocent, like that's the beautiful casting of Dave Bautista in anything, but especially
Mm-hmm.
this role where if you read the book, it's described exactly the same. That he's like the most threatening person when it comes to physical appearance, but everything with his words is so soft that like it's both like completely innocent and it's also still threatening. Like you really feel like at
Mm-hmm.
some point he's just gonna like turn and be evil or something, but like no, he's just like a second grade teacher, and it's great.
Mm-hmm. That was a really interesting thing about the people, like the people who believe or like have the apocalypse visions. They were all just like ordinary people, and they don't really explain like why they just sort of or why they were like the chosen ones to like have these visions. Like a lot of that stuff is like left unexplained, and I really liked that. Is M. Night Shyamalan like a religious guy?
I don't think so, but I know his filmography has a lot of ties with religion. He might have been raised religious.
Yeah, this was really giving me like Catholic, evangelical Christian vibes, like, you know, the whole rapture and things like that, especially with how um the biblical allegories work. Like when the gay couple is like denying to make the sacrifice, and then one of the vision havers sacrifices themselves instead, and they're like, oh, a part of humanity has been judged. That always gave me like the chills. And it was like really reflective of like the plagues that like God sent against like the Egyptians. There's like a reference to COVID-19, but it's called something different. Um, in these, I kind of wish that like there had been more than four of them sometimes, but like I think the four of them play off each other super super well, but I also kind of would have liked to see more plagues. But at the same time, I kind of understand why they didn't do that, because I think with like less chances to like make the decision, the stakes are a lot higher. But like it could have been interesting to see more like biblical plagues. Yeah,
I agree.
that was interesting.
I also thought all
Mhm.
the characters, I mean, we mentioned Bautista, but I think all the like vision getters, whatever you want, however you want to describe Dave Bautista sides of things, like
Mhm.
they all I thought were incredible at being both like threatening, and yes, they are like quote unquote antagonists. They're the one bringing this bad news, keeping this family hostage to a point, but like they all also are like motivated by fear and these emotions where like you really can't judge them if you agree, like can accept that they're believing that they're trying to save the world for not just themselves but also like their families and just everyone. Like I think that was really interesting that there's no villain here per se. There are people who are like antagonists kind of, but like there's no like evil villain, and I like that. Also really will say I
Mhm.
appreciated the queerness of the film. This is a movie that
Yeah.
is it's about a gay couple. I think it has a statement to say that this is basically seeing this gay couple adopting this child is like the purest version of love. I think that says something. And I like that it's a good blend of like queerness is not ignored. They talk about, you know, queer trauma, they talk about things like that, but it's never like a defining point of these characters or their whole identities. I think when it comes to queer representation, this is probably one of the better ones. And what a novel idea. Sorry, all the cum shots out there, but like gay actors playing gay characters was good. You know, what a shock.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
shocked.
Those two had really good chemistry together. And I also liked that it was like a gay couple and an adopted daughter, because I think that also like raises the stakes, because there's like, I don't think this obviously, but there are a lot of people who think that like adopting a child is not the same as like biologically having a child. And the little girl's like two dads, like they are very adamant, like we're not gonna kill our fucking daughter, like we love her so much, like just as if she was like one of our own. um and yeah, they were so good together. They should be more movies together. I forget the other one's name, but yeah,
I also think the daughter was like for kid actors very good.
he was so good, so good. I stan her. I don't know her name, but I would like to see her in more things.
Look, we don't know the names
She
of
was
these
adorable.
people, but like just, you know, they're all
Yeah, I don't
great.
know any of these actors except for like Dave Bautista, Jonathan Groff, and Ron Weasley, and I forget Ron Weasley's real name.
Really the only complaint I have before we get into spoilers is I think the stakes is a little weird how I get that like obviously humanity is a big question here, but when they come to like would we like should we sacrifice ourselves to save humanity, which I get, and I think again the queer lens adds a lot to that conversation. I can't be the only one who is like, what about the animals? Like like I feel bad. I would feel bad if I was killing every single like basically animal and plant in existence. Like, what about the puppies? What about the cute little lions? Like, I don't know. I feel like that was weird to not bring in as far as stakes go.
I didn't even think about that, but like when the like apocalyptic vision havers are like about to sacrifice themselves, they say a part of humanity has been judged. So I feel like this wouldn't affect the cute little
The
animal. But like
tsunami
with the
definitely killed something.
yeah, like that's interesting. That is not fair to all of those poor little animals. They don't know God exists. Oh my god, Kristen, you just made me sad.
Thank you. And I was sitting there, I was like, is no like am I crazy? I would have been like, I don't care about the humans, but I don't want to kill the
Yeah.
cows.
I really liked that Shyamalan decided to like include flashbacks of the gay couple and the like negative experiences they've had. Like that whole thing with like the one that's not Jonathan Groff getting attacked at a bar. And then like when they're adopting their daughter, and I guess she's from like an orphanage in China or something. He says, "This is my like wife's brother. She couldn't make it," even though like they're adopting the baby for themselves. I feel like they wouldn't let you take a baby like that, but whatever. I'm not sure how international adoption works.
It also feels a little
But
wild to
like,
lie about, though. I don't know how that works,
yeah,
but
I don't
valid.
know. Because, like, why would they give you a baby when they've only met one of the parents? I don't know. It's a plot hole, I think.
You.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know enough about adopting from other countries to be able to make a claim there.
Yeah. When I was younger, I actually really wanted to adopt, like, internationally, but I would adopt, like a brown kid, like somebody from, like, South Asia or the Middle East or, like, the West Indies. But, like, ever since I've been on TikTok, I realized that there's a lot of like issues with like adopting, especially adopting internationally. So I don't know if I want to do it anymore. But like I liked the concept of it.
Sure.
Anyway,
I don't want
that's
kids,
off
so I
topic.
can't really relate. But, you know, good for
Yeah.
you, or sorry that happened, whatever.
What would you do if you're in that situation and if you actually wanted a kid? Because I feel like if you didn't want kids, you just kill your kid.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a little brutal for me to be like, I'm going to shoot a child, right? Even if it's not mine.
I feel like it's
right.
different shooting somebody than stabbing somebody.
Would you rather stab or shoot someone?
I'd rather shoot somebody
Agreed.
because you're like further away. Like when you're stabbing somebody, you're like,
Sure.
that's why serial killers like to stab people and like strangle them because they can
Ew.
actually see like the life go out of their eyes.
Yeah,
Like a
I
lot
could
of
close
serial
my.
killers have said that. Like
Ugh.
killing somebody by like stabbing or like suffocation, strangling is a much more intimate. So I would rather shoot somebody.
Speaking of Jonathan Groff, great in Mindhunter, all about that. I would
Slay.
probably just like if I truly like believed it was happening, right, and like truly like someone has to go, I'd probably just genuinely sacrifice myself. Like,
But they said you couldn't do that.
well, no, but I could be like okay with him killing me and then be like, okay, you
Okay.
kill me. I wouldn't
Yeah.
like. I meant more like that. Like, I'd be like, okay, I volunteer as tribute, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I just don't feel like I could like kill the person I love and then just be like okay to live life. Like I just feel
I
like
think
that's
I'd
such a
kill my
weight.
kid.
Oh, okay.
I could have more.
That's so true, Alina. You could just adopt
Listen,
another.
listen. Have you seen this thing on TikTok going around where like women will ask their husbands, if I was like dying in labor, would you save the baby or would you save me?
That's different though, because like you don't have an like sure, kill the kid. You don't know
Listen,
them. But like if
exactly.
you're
But
caring
you
for
can
the
have
child
another
for
one.
years, like you I
She
just
was like 6. I feel like it depends on how old your child is. Like,
huh.
I don't know. Kids have such innocent lives, usually,
Okay.
if you raise them properly, that they have already had such a good and wonderful and positive life that I would rather kill them than like have them go through the trauma of
Yeah.
murdering their dad or something. I don't know. I
That's
really
kind of
love my
fair.
boyfriend and I don't have children yet. So like I'm just thinking of like how I feel in this moment in time. I would rather in theory kill my child than I would kill Paul, who is not podcast Paul, my Paul.
To
They're
be clear, how
different
long have you
people.
been dating your Paul?
Like officially since October, but technically since like December 2021.
Okay, so I'm happy to know that you unofficially with a boyfriend for like a year and a half is enough for you to kill your child.
I don't have children. I don't know. I don't even want children anymore either. Like, I really wanted kids when I was younger, and now that the world continues getting shittier and shittier and shittier, I'm like, I'm kind of like, I don't want to raise children in such society.
Also, I like money. I like me doing fun stuff. Like, sorry
Yeah.
guys. I want to be a
How am I
teacher, so
supposed to
I'm
go to
gonna
Iceland with a 2-year-old? You know what I'm
thank
saying?
you. And I want to be a teacher, so like I'm gonna be working with kids. So like I'm good.
Hmm.
You
Yeah, that's
know.
valid. I
Would
don't
you
know.
rather
I might
kill
get knocked
your
up when I'm 35, but I don't know.
that'd be
Hmm?
powerful. Would you rather
Yeah.
kill your Paul or Doug?
Oh my god. Doug's my baby. I think I'd kill my Paul. I don't know. Doug's been in my life longer.
Fair.
He's not gonna like it. He doesn't listen to this podcast. But like, could you imagine listening to your girlfriend say, "Yeah, I'd rather kill my boyfriend than my cat." I don't
Well,
know.
today we learn if Paul listens to Clappercast or not.
He
Officially.
does not. He doesn't
That's
care
good.
about movies. Happy for
That's
him. What a
so
life
fair.
to live.
Honestly, I wish. If I could, I would too. Um well, let's I move in. I don't know if there's anything we really need to talk about too far with spoilers, but I guess spoiler warning now on. The world apparently was ending. So that's cool, I guess. I don't know. What were your thoughts
Mhm.
on the world ending?
See, what I was referring to by like the thing we saw at the beginning of the film, when Jonathan Groff's character gets like his concussion, and like I don't remember if it's like when Rupert Grint is get about to get killed, he like sees like some sort of light coming through the window, and there's like a figure in it, and I was like, that's Jesus. I just know that's our boy Jesus. I know it with my whole heart. And I watched this with my little sister because I didn't tell her anything about it. And I said, Bautista's in it. You won't be scared. Don't worry. She was mad at me. But like, she was really skeptical the entire time, but she didn't notice the figure. And I feel like that was like a huge, not like spoiler, but it was like really like obvious. I guess not obvious to everybody, but to me it was very obvious foreshadowing. Um, so I was going through the whole thing, not like flipping back and forth. Like I knew that like it was real.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. I didn't really see the figure, but I saw like there was something there. They do try to explain it away, like, oh, maybe it's the concussion. I think like
Hmm.
that works. But I mean, then it gets pretty obvious, I would say, as like planes are like falling and all this shit's happening. I
Yeah.
will say I like that there's not really like a big twist per se. I think with old, that's like kind of universally agreed upon, like, oh, the Shyamalan twist is the worst part of that film. I like that he doesn't feel the need to add like some giant twist. Instead, it's just kind of like which pathway is real. I appreciate that.
Hmm. The
Um,
part that like bothered me the most about the ending though is like the gay couple's like their car tires get like slashed, so they go and find like once Jonathan Groff's character is like dead and the other um apocalypse people, they go and find like Dave Bautista and co's like car, and they find like photos that like prove all of the stuff that like they were saying throughout the film. And I didn't think that was necessary because like it's already very obvious that like they weren't lying. And I was like, oh my god, just please end this movie. I don't need to see all of this. Like this is not necessary. I feel like this movie would have been better if there had been more things up to interpretation. Mm-hmm.
I think that's definitely fair. I definitely understand that point. And I don't know. I personally like movies that take a bold stance, but I definitely see where you're coming from. I am
Mm-hmm.
curious if you're watching on YouTube, leave in the comment section below what your thoughts on the ending was, because I'm curious if more people agree with you or me there. But I think we're gonna start wrapping up the review. Alina, do you have
Wait,
any?
wait.
Oh,
I
go for it.
also want our listeners to know, what would you do if you're in this situation? Would you kill
Yes.
your child or your partner? I want
Yeah,
to
I
know.
would
Or your
love to
cat.
know. We'll put that's the question of the week. We'll put it up on Twitter. Who would you kill, your partner, your child, or your cat? if
Or
it's,
your pet.
or your
Be
pet,
be
sure.
yeah.
Be all inclusive. I wouldn't want to, assume anyone owns a cat.
Yeah.
Is there any last things you would like to say, Alina, about M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin?
Not really, other than Dave Bautista is the best wrestler turned actor. Argue with the wall.
I echo that
Also, put him in a
statement.
rom com. Put the man in a rom com.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay,
I'm
now I'm done.
really do want him in a rom com. It was so sad, that tweet.
I
Um,
know.
So I agree. Dave Bautista, best wrestler turned actor. I really appreciate this film. Chances are you've already seen it. If not, go check it out. Why not? It's February. There's not that many new movies to watch. And I think that's going to do it this week on the podcast. Alina, where can we find you on the social medias that you are not on?
I am at Alina Falls on everything, but I basically only use Letterboxd right now. But I have like 5 things to update on it.
And you can find me on Twitter at BP_movie reviews, Letterboxd Carson Tamar. You can find our podcast everywhere you get podcasts, or on YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces, if you've not already. We're on Twitter, Letterboxd, all those social media platforms. Thank you so much for watching/listening, and we'll be back next week with our review of Magic Mike's Last Dance. Goodbye.